So I have with me now His Excellency Walid Fayad, Minister of Energy and Water in Lebanon. Welcome to Abu Dhabi. Let's talk about the big picture here. Everybody's talking about the net zero transition, the roadmap. Where is Lebanon in all this?
Okay, let me tell you first at the global level that when we talk about energy transition, the objectives are to move toward an energy mix that is more environmentally cautious and environmentally friendly. At the same time, because of the unrest that happened over the world, we have witnessed a conversion of the principles of energy transition on one side and energy security on the other, because it became crucial to understand that the actual transition rests on energy security. So once we secure the availability of the energy, and also for that matter the water resource, we have to think about what minimizes the cost of that energy. And at the same time, what makes it the lowest cost, not only economically, but also environmentally, because environmentally, there is also a cost. It doesn't translate into a financial cost until much later, but it is indeed a cost. And in that context, in Lebanon, we are suffering on all fronts of that spectrum of energy security and energy transition. But on energy security, for us, it's a matter of making available the resource. And the resource for producing electricity is, for the time being, mostly imported because we need gas oil and fuel oil to operate power plants. And this needs money, and money that Lebanon currently does not have. So with a lot of gymnastics and creative thinking, we were able to increase the energy supply to a minimum, to a vital minimum. It reaches maybe about 5 hours of supply today. But we have also, in order to be able to cover that cost, we raised the price of the electricity in a way that allows you to cover the cost of that electricity. At the same time, this spurred automatically, because of market dynamics, the development of solar energy. So today in Lebanon, we have off-grid rooftop-based solutions that are mushrooming due to the high cost of alternative privately produced diesel power generator, or for that matter, even the electricity from EDL is more expensive today than the electricity from solar energy. And that is spurring the development of the solar energy, both for the residential sector and also industrial sector. I would say today we have about 600 megawatts of solar energy installed. And this is promising for the future. Our plan in the energy sector is to have 30% of renewable energy in the mix consumed by 2030. So up to 30%, at least 30% consumed in renewable energy by 2030.
Where is Lebanon getting its energy needs from? And can we see any bright solutions for especially electricity in Lebanon anytime soon?
Yes, listen, we are getting the fuel today from two sources. One source is through the long-term agreement, the agreement with the Iraq. And I was just yesterday in Iraq over the visit where I saw the Prime Minister and multiple ministers with in mind the objective to extend the contract when it ends in November, but also increase the quantities of fuel that we would get by virtue of this contract. This will allow to increase the supply of power to the grid in Lebanon. And in parallel, what we have in place, because of the tariff hike that we had to implement, not only because it's a necessity to cover the cost, but also because it helps in rationalizing energy consumption. With that, we were able to secure a purchase of fuel on the market itself with funding from the revenues that are coming from the tariff. So these are the two sources today, plus renewable energy.
I know that Lebanon pays, or Lebanese pay double bills almost,
Yes.
right? What policies can be put in place to protect consumers from increasing electricity and gas bills?
Yes, listen, the policies that can be put in place to reduce the cost on the Lebanese citizen of the electricity and water bill is one that relies on institutions. If we build the institutions, ODL institutions, the water establishments, and we strengthen them so that they themselves can offer the service to the maximum satisfaction level and in a continuous base, so for the water on a continuous level, and also for the electricity reaching eventually a larger number of hours. I want to say 24 hours, even though this is a stretch at this stage. But the more we have institutional electricity coming into the grid, that institutional electricity from EDL is going to cost less. It does cost at 40% it represents of the cost of the privately owned generators. So by moving the electricity from the private generators, more of it coming from the institution, which is EDL, we will reduce the cost to the citizen. At the same time, more renewable energy will further reduce the cost also to the citizen, and this is all part of the plan in the electricity sector.
Walid, I have to ask you about the water status.
Yes.
Lebanon is rich in water, unlike the region, right, which is suffering from drought and the lack of water. Um, Also, what has been done? What are you doing in this regard to secure also the water in Lebanon?
Listen, on the water front, it is true that Lebanon is a bit in a more comfortable position compared to, let's say, the Gulf countries or even other countries in the Arab region. However, it's still not, I would not consider it a rich country in water compared, for example, to Turkey. But our situation is poised to improve if we make better use of surface water through the establishment of strategic dams and also a more efficient use, more general, of recovered water. The water establishments are today able to supply the service. One point is important to mention: the cost of energy represents about 80% of the cost of the delivery of that service, which is water. And we have this nexus connecting water and energy. The more we progress in resolving the energy problem, we in the same token address the water problem. It's also, it happens to be a smaller scale problem for the water sector, but it will improve when there is investment in building the critical infrastructure. There are big dam projects, for example, in Bisri Dam, in Janni Dam. There are a few like Silata, like Ba'ata and Limsailha, which are dams that have not been completed. They need to be completed and put in practice. This will, and commissioned, this will increase the availability of water and reduce its cost, because it costs much less to use surface water than to take groundwater and pump it through expensive, especially if it's private generator electricity or diesel.
And speaking about investments, aside the international financial institutions, where are you looking, or to whom you're looking to secure these investments?
So, as you know, we have partnerships with Total and with Qatar and Eni for the exploration in gas in the Mediterranean, in Block 9. At the same time, these companies have expressed their interest in investing in solar energy, not just in gas production. And we are looking to find ways for them to be able to invest in power, in renewable energy, solar energy power plant, hopefully soon. But we are working on it. And this is one source through the partners who are involved in the gas exploration. We would like to see a strengthening of relations with the Arab countries if they are ready to invest. The Western world is waiting for the IMF program to kick in. I encourage investors to look at the reform that's already underway in the energy sector and build on the progress that we have achieved to be courageous enough to invest with us in solving the energy sector without having to wait for the whole macroeconomic stability package to enter. Finally, if we look east world also, all the way to China and going back west, uh, we should be open to seeking investors from all over the world.